This is Big Leagues Country Roads Rankins. Yoo-hoo!
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Country Roads Rankings, brought to you by Knox Community Hospital. Thank you, Knox Community Hospital, for being a sponsor for these wonderful rankings for squads in Divisions 5, 6, and 7, coming out of mine and Brian Skowronski's brains. And
hey, I got nothing to do with these, just to clarify here.
I am K-Mac Travis Berardi, alongside with a new nickname this week, Brian Urban Cowboy Skowronski. How you like that?
Baby. Hey, let's go down these country roads and let the people know who's going to skedaddle up to the very top.
All right, let's get right into things with the top 10. We had some teams drop out last week. I really didn't do well with my I don't like preseason polls, but we wanted to do something for the preseason.
Ironically, we were talking about them right before we went on, and you said that you had a little bit of a disdain for them, and then you put out your own, and this is why, because you don't know until they kick things off.
Exactly. We had teams like, Centerburg, they're going to drop out of the top 10 because of a loss.
See you, Trojans.
Utica, Mohawk, there's really high on them for the first week, but, Calvert, hey, maybe they made it into the top 10 because of that win. And then a couple other teams that were in my top 5, 3 of them lost.
Wow.
Do they stay in the top 10? Well, we'll find out. Let's get right into the tune of things with number 10, the Fredericktown Freddies. They did drop a tough one to Highland, but Dane Nauman and company, an MOAC squad, a higher-rated team in the division, a couple rings up above them, 300 yards, but Fredericktown was in this. They only held Nauman, only one touchdown. They actually had a chance to go in and take a lead when Highland stopped them on the 2, and Nauman turned out a 98-yard run that really turned that game around. But Fredericktown stuck with it. 0-1, they're going to drop from 4th down to 10th, but they still remain in the top 10, and I still think they're a squad that can win the K-Mac. At number 9, Hillsdale. Welcome to the top 10, Hillsdale Falcons. You beat Black River. You're 1-0, and you got a big one coming up this Saturday, live and free on the OH Report. Brian and I will be at the Treehouse, the remodeled Treehouse, I hear, up at Lucas. But Hillsdale with a chance to really get themselves into the rankings if they can knock off the Cubbies at Bob Wine Field. And will the Cubbies have 2 losses in a row, or can they bounce back? We'll see. I don't know the last time Lucas has lost the back-to-back games at home.
It's probably been years and years and years under Scott Spittler. Are they even in your top 10 still?
We'll
find out.
We'll see. Number 8, St. Paul, a squad that I had at 5th. Yeah. They lost to a tough Huron team. That's not going to knock them out of the top 10. They play teams up a couple rungs just like Fredericktown did, but St. Paul, a tough one to Huron, but I still think they're going to be a competitor in the Firelands Conference when it is all said and done. At number 7, Calvert, welcome to the top 10. You really impressed us on Thursday night against Mohawk at home. 3-0 Mohawk at the half was a defensive battle, but that fumble on the 2-yard line that Mohawk gave away, Calvert punches that in, and it turned the whole complexion of the game around. Calvert then just ran away with it and gets the impressive opening night victory, and impressively, you're in the top 10. Congratulations and welcome. At number 6, the Golden Knights of Northmore, led by one Maxton Lauer, 170 yards on 23 carries, 3 touchdowns, shutting out Elgin on opening night, 45-0, and it was pretty much a running clock the whole second half. That's how dominant the Golden Knights were in the first half of that game, and with a couple losses ahead of them, they move up to number 6, but a team that even jumps Northmore, despite the Northmore win, those East Knox Bulldogs. Knocking off Division 5 Northridge, a team that was 5-5 last year, and they did it on the road. Very impressive. And they have those Crestview Cougars coming up at home this time.
Wow.
Can they get revenge from last year's loss? Big loss to the Cougars, or will Crestview, take it once again? Crestview still remaining in the top 10 with their win. Where do they end up? We'll find out here in a little bit. At number 4, the Colonel Crawford Eagles.
Okay.
They got the win. It was impressive enough of a win, but because the 3 teams ahead of them lost, why not move them up? That's what pretty much everybody did. Everybody had somewhat of an impressive win, but not enough to jump other teams that have wins. But still, they can get up there. The only one exception would be East Knox going 1 spot ahead of Northmore. But other than that, Colonel Crawford, you're moving up to the top 5. You did what you needed to do. Now to number 3, and yes, those Lucas Cubs. You lost a tough one to a very good Clear Fork squad, a Division 4 Clear Fork squad. It's always said, Lucas it doesn't matter if you're Division 1 or Division 7, we will play you. And, they had it until the last 3 minutes. You were at that game, it slipped through the fingertips. They missed a field goal, missed an extra point that could have played as well. But Lucas, that was, I guess, the most impressive defeat of the week, if you could say, if any defeats are impressive enough. But Lucas, you're going to stay at number 3. You did what you needed to do to at least stay at number 3. At number 2, stays the same. Crestview, 1-0, did what they needed to do against Loudonville. Step 1 of 10 to maybe another perfect season, but they got, like I said, they have East Knox this week and then they have Highland come to their place next week. So that would be enough to maybe get them over our number 1 team who, hey, you
Carey,
still got to
baby.
beat the man.
Let's go.
You got to beat the man. Carey, 1-0. Impressive victory over Hopewell Loudon. They lost how many guys from graduation last year? How many All-Ohioans? But those players that got the second half experience and all those games that they were blowing teams out, these backups that are now starters this year, they had a lot of varsity experience last year, so they know what they were supposed to do coming in, and they were impressive. They stay at 1-0. So Brian, I'm going to let you take things over. What do you think about this top 10?
Ooh, baby. I love the addition of Hillsdale getting into the top 10. I think they belong there, at least for now. What a matchup they have coming up on Saturday night against Lucas. Check that out live and free. Should be an awesome contest. The Cubs' potential to drop to 0-2. Who would have ever predicted that? But what an amazingly tough schedule they play. So I'm cool with them staying at number 3, playing a D4 team, and like you said, it just slipped right through the Cubs' fingertips at the end of the game. Welcome Calvert to the list. Great running game. Love what we saw from the offensive line in that one, and defensively to hold a Mohawk team to just 9 points with all the weapons they have on offense. It was a true display on both sides of the ball. Northmore, a little surprised you actually didn't have them higher after the beat down that they were able to put on right in front of your very eyes. But again, think about the competition
exactly.
and
that's why.
Temper the expectations. Let's see what happens when they take the field against a bigger school and maybe a tougher challenge. Really impressed with Carey. I feel like I spit out a couple of matzo balls last week just saying, hey, that was the seniors last year that was putting on the show, but you never know what you're going to get, like Forrest Gump said, until you actually put it out there. And since these guys, this new group, they've got to taste what that box of chocolates is, it's all success for Carey right now. Huge win over Hopewell Loudon, and look for them to maybe, again, be looking at a season where they're Northern 10 champions. Colonel Crawford probably going to have something to say about that, so congratulations to the Eagles for a big Week 1 victory. East Knox, man, I think that the question mark was, how was Brayson Davis going to play under center? I kind of liked everything else that they brought to the equation. He answered a lot of questions, so I don't have very many qualms with your list other than St. Paul. But you can make the same argument that we're making for Lucas staying at number 3. They got ran over, though, in the game against Huron. It wasn't like the Lucas game where they were in it till the end. That baby was not competitive. So maybe drop the Flyers a little bit lower or completely out of it. Other than that, there's a pretty solid list. We've got some good-looking teams that are playing out on these country roads, and a lot of them, we're going to see some matchups going down within the top 10. So it's going to be an exciting season all the way around. Can't wait to see how it all shakes out. Can Carey stay at the top spot for the entire season? If they do, man, I'm going to go on an apology tour from what I said last week. They proved something to me, though. I'm starting to believe, but not fully, and I got 1 foot inside of the Carey box right now. I'd like to jump all the way on the bandwagon. A couple more wins. Bring it on, Blue Devils. Would love to see it.
Well, they're going to stay at top until they fall, and you got to think, when that happens, if Crestview's still undefeated, maybe that's when they finally overtake them. But also going down, like you said, with St. Paul, there are also other D5 to D7 teams. Not a lot won. There are a few in the N10, the KMAX squads that won. There's a couple, Mount Gilead's right on the outside. They had an impressive win over Ridgedale, a big blowout that puts them in that, that other ranking category. They're right outside. A couple other teams, but just these other squads, they're good enough to stay in the top 10. But we'll have to see. It's only Week 1. We got 9 more weeks of this, and then maybe 6 more weeks of playoffs and whatever. But you know what? That's the great thing about this is we got 10 weeks of high school football. We still have 9 left, at least of the regular season.
Plus the expanded playoffs again with the 16 teams getting in. So
don't even get me started with the expanded playoffs. Long way to go,
baby.
Hey, we got football for at least 4 more months. All right, that'll do it for this one. The Country Roads Rankings brought to you by Knox Community Hospital. He is Urban Cowboy Skowronski. I am K-Mac Travis Berardi. We'll see you next week.